The evening lights of the city glowed through the tall glass walls of the Crystal Leaf restaurant. Inside, the air smelled of luxury. Soft piano music played, waiters moved gracefully, and every table was set like a piece of art. It was the kind of place where the elite came not just to eat, but to show they belonged to a different world. At one of the corner tables sat Ethan Moore, a well-known businessman in his early 40s. He wore a black suit that matched his perfectly polished shoes. His watch sparkled under the light, a limited edition piece that could pay a poor man's rent for a year. Across from him sat Chloe, a young woman dressed elegantly in red. She was new to his world and looked at him with admiration mixed with nervousness. "This place is so beautiful," Chloe said, glancing around. Ethan smirked. "Only the best for people who sit with me." Their waiter, Daniel, approached the table with a polite smile. He looked no older than 30, his shirt slightly faded at the edges, but neatly ironed. He had tired eyes, the kind that told stories of long hours and little sleep. Still, he carried himself with quiet dignity. "Good evening, sir. Would you like to order now?" Daniel asked gently. Ethan didn't even look up from his phone. "Bring us your best wine, and make sure it's cold this time. Last week, you people messed it up." Daniel nodded respectfully. "Of course, sir. Right away." As Daniel walked away, Chloe looked at Ethan with a small frown. "You come here often?" "Every Friday," he said proudly. "They all know who I am. I practically own this place with how much money I've spent here." Minutes later, Daniel returned with the wine bottle and glasses. As he poured it, a few drops spilled near Ethan's plate. Just a few. It could have been nothing, but to Ethan, it was everything. He slammed his hand on the table. "Can't you even pour wine properly?" The entire restaurant went silent. Daniel froze for a second, then lowered his eyes. "I'm so sorry, sir. It was an accident." "An accident?" Ethan's voice grew louder. "Do you even know who I am? I come here every week. I pay more in tips than you make in a month. And this is how you serve me?" Chloe looked embarrassed as people started turning their heads. "Ethan, it's just wine. Stay out of this," he snapped at her. Daniel stood still, his hands trembling slightly. "I truly apologize, sir. I will clean it immediately." Ethan snatched the glass and threw it aside. It shattered on the floor. "Clean this too while you're at it. Maybe next time you'll learn to use your hands properly." The manager rushed over. "Sir, please calm down." "Don't tell me to calm down. Fire this idiot, or I'll make sure this place shuts down." Daniel's face went pale. He needed this job. His mother was sick, his rent was due, and this was the only place willing to hire him after he lost his previous job. But he said nothing. He quietly bent down to clean the mess, whispering, "I'm so sorry, sir." Ethan leaned back with a smirk. Pathetic. When Daniel walked away, Chloe looked disgusted. "That was cruel, Ethan." "He deserved it. People like him should know their place," he said coldly. The dinner continued, but something in the air had changed. Chloe barely spoke, and Ethan didn't notice the stares of people who had witnessed his arrogance. After dinner, Ethan stood to leave. He reached for his wallet and frowned. "Where's my card?" he muttered. Chloe asked, "Did you drop it?" "I never drop anything," he said, annoyed. He checked his pockets again, then turned around to look. The waiter, Daniel, approached slowly, holding a shiny credit card. "Sir, I think this is yours. You might have dropped it near the restroom." He snatched it from his hand. "Of course it's mine. You people would have kept it if I hadn't noticed, huh?" Daniel shook his head softly. "No, sir. I was coming to return it. It's my duty." Ethan rolled his eyes. Sure, you're lucky I didn't complain to the owner. As he turned to leave, Daniel looked at him with calm eyes and said quietly, Sir, I hope someday you understand that respect doesn't depend on money. Ethan laughed mockingly. Spare me the life lessons. Go clean some more tables. He walked out with Chloe following silently, but karma, as always, had its own timing. Outside, rain had begun to pour. The valet hurriedly brought Ethan's expensive black car to the front. As Ethan stepped toward it, his shiny shoes slipped on the wet marble stairs. He stumbled, his leg twisted, and he fell hard, the sound echoing through the parking area. Chloe gasped and ran to him. Ethan, are you okay? Ethan groaned, holding his ankle in pain. The valet and a few staff members rushed to help him up, but his pride hurt more than his leg. His trousers were soaked, his suit ruined, and everyone who had seen his arrogance inside now watched him struggle to stand. Daniel, the same waiter he had insulted, came running with an umbrella. He knelt beside Ethan, covering him from the rain. Careful, sir, the stairs get slippery in this weather. Ethan stared at him, disbelief, shame, and guilt flashing through his eyes. He couldn't speak. Daniel helped him up gently. Let's get you inside until the car is ready. Ethan whispered, Why are you helping me? Daniel smiled softly. Because that's what good people do, sir. We help, even when others don't deserve it. For the first time, Ethan had no reply. He looked down, embarrassed. His expensive suit didn't make him feel powerful anymore. It made him feel small. Chloe helped him sit on a chair in the entrance. Daniel handed him a glass of water. Ethan took it quietly and said in a low voice, Thank you. Daniel nodded. Take care of yourself, sir. When Ethan left that night, he didn't say another word, but his mind was racing. The scene replayed in his head, his anger, the waiter's calmness, the fall. He realized he had become the kind of man he once hated. Years ago, when he was poor, he had promised himself never to treat others the way rich people treated him. But somewhere along the way, he had become exactly like them. By afternoon, Ethan drove back to the restaurant. When Daniel saw him, he looked surprised but still greeted him politely. Good afternoon, sir. How can I help you? Ethan stood awkwardly, holding a small envelope. I came to apologize, he said quietly. Daniel blinked, unsure if he had heard right. Sir? I was wrong yesterday. I shouldn't have spoken to you that way. I let my ego talk instead of my heart. I'm sorry. The restaurant staff turned to look. They had never seen Ethan Moore apologize to anyone. Daniel smiled humbly. Thank you, sir. That means a lot. Ethan handed him the envelope. He isn't a tip. It's a thank you. You reminded me who I used to be. Daniel opened it and saw money inside, but what touched him more was the handwritten note that said, For your honesty and kindness, you made me a better man. From that day on, Ethan changed. He began treating his employees differently, helped fund a training program for restaurant staff, and started a foundation to support low-income workers in the city. His business grew, but more importantly, so did his heart. Months later, Daniel was promoted to manager. The restaurant started hosting charity dinners for struggling families, and every Friday, Ethan visited, not as a man to show off, but as someone who came to thank the universe for a lesson learned. One night, while leaving, Ethan turned to Daniel and said, You know, that fall outside wasn't an accident. It was life reminding me that no one stays on top forever. The only thing that keeps us from falling again is humility. Daniel smiled. Maybe that was karma's way of helping you stand taller, sir. Ethan nodded. Maybe you're right. As he walked away, rain began to fall again, but this time he didn't rush to his car. He stood there for a while, letting the rain wash away the arrogance that once blinded him. In that quiet moment, Ethan Moore, the rich man who once insulted a poor waiter, finally understood what true wealth meant. Moral of the story: money can buy luxury, but not respect. Arrogance fades fast, kindness lasts forever. Karma never forgets, it just